Welcome to the Dating Unsettled show where we dare to date differently. We're not like other girls, are we? Okay, Unsettlers, we're in the middle of a recession. This is not a Sue Orman financial advice, Larry King live. Rest in peace, Larry King. Oh, that just made me sad. This isn't one of those. This is me giving you from the bottom of my heart and a little bit of Chat GPT some free date ideas. Yeah? I've been on a lot of these, okay? So I'm not trying to set you up for failure. I want to set you up for success. One of the things that gets under my skin a little bit when I think about the culture of dating today is how much we feel like when we invest in an experience with someone else, we are like wasting our money or wasting our time. Y'all already know how I feel about wasted time because I've talked about it in another episode. But in particular, when it comes to wasting money, that's all you. It is entirely your fault. It's the way that you look at it. But if you decide to spend $200, $500, $1,000 on a date with a stranger who's not your wife, if you decide to do that, then sorry, that's unsettling. It's not my fault. It's yours. So now that you feel a lot of heavy guilt and culpable accountability and responsibility, I want to show you how to go on some low-cost dates. Like, these ones to me are easy, spur of the moment. You just met somebody. You're not sure how much time or money you want to invest in them. This is how you kind of get in and get out if things get ugly. Yeah? Okay. So you're ready for these ideas. Be sure to follow us on all platforms at Dating Unsettled so that if you actually go on these dates, you can DM me a couple, pictures or, Joy, this went horribly wrong. I'm in jail now. I think I did something wrong. Help. I won't bail you out, but I'll take it as a learning. Yeah? All right. The first date is honestly very basic. The first date is for the granola girls. It's a hike. Yeah, a hike. I know that it can feel kind of unsettling to go into a completely strange, unknown terrain with a complete stranger. So you can actually scope out the hike beforehand. You don't gotta go all the way up. Leave a little something to the imagination. But to me, it's nice to be able to get outside, breathe fresh air. You probably, I'm just saying probably because you never know how this climate will change. You probably have the luxury of going on a hike at any given moment, whether you're in Seattle, California. Some of you are some of y'all in France. Some of you are in Gambia and Nigeria. So I don't even know if there are mountains where you are. Oh my God, I'm making a lot of privileged coastal assumptions. But wherever you are, if a walk or a hike is available and accessible to you, I recommend it. You can go scope it out beforehand, get really comfy with it. And sometimes you find nice little surprises when you're on your hike. For me, there was one hike that I went on and it was actually one of the worst dates that I've ever had in my life, but there were horses. Horses randomly appeared on the date. And it was such a sweet moment of wow, this guy sucks, but there's a horsey. So I hope that you find that type of serendipity when you're out on your hike. To me, the best thing about the hike is that you can gauge the discomfort of the other person when they are in a completely unknown situation. If you've been going on super controlled dates, you're sitting across from them at a table, they're picking you up in their car, you don't really get a good sense of how this person deals with uncertainty. They're doing the unknown. You like that? Did you like that? Oh, they're doing the unknown. You don't get a sense for how they improv. And I like knowing how a man, call me a theater girl, I like knowing how a man improvs. So I take him on a hike, whether or not the weather changes or somebody rides by or a little girl drops her dolly. I just want to see. I want to see how he responds. The next thing is you can also see what type of dresser he is. You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna throw on the little hoochie daddy shorts for you? Is it thigh meat out season? Or is he gonna hit you with the 9-inch shorts? That's unsettling. If we're gonna go on a date, show me. I literally sound like a dude. I'm like, show me the meat. But I want to see it. I'd love to see it. If you are dating somebody who's a femme and they wear super tight leggings, walk behind them. And that is all that I'm going to say. Next is that you can also tell on a hike if somebody is grateful to be on this earth. Do they actually appreciate being on this planet? And I'll tell you how I know this. When I was on the worst date ever, no, not the worst date ever, but it was pretty bad. When I was on this date, the guy came outside and the first thing that he remarked on being 2.5 inches shorter than he said he was with his sunglasses still on and not greeting me directly in the eye. The first thing that he said was, wow, it's so brown. I thought it was going to be green. Like, not only are you 35 minutes late and 2.5 inches shorter than you said you were, and it's seared into my memory, but also you just don't appreciate like what the earth is bringing you today. It was still a beautiful day, even if the grass was a little browner. Okay, the next is the picnic. To me, this is like a slightly more controlled environment, but you still get like a little bit of the outdoors. You know what I'm saying? You could breathe in some aire. I like this, but make sure that you're checking for the person's ability. Like, is sitting down for an hour on end actually like accessible, comfortable to them? Definitely check. Don't assume. But I love a good picnic. Like, for me, it's about the people watching. I like when like the dogs go by and you get to meet the dog. I trained canines when I was dating, and like it was really nice. Just a little bit of a flex to like have like a dog come over. You know what I'm saying? I could be like, oh hey, sit. Oh, good boy. And then like the guy's like watching me with the dog. I'm like, oh yeah, I have maternal instincts. So you can show off your skills interacting with people, babies, dogs, mailmen, the IRS, whoever happens to walk by you on that picnic blanket. You just get to show off, and it's kind of fun. You can also bring the person's favorite snacks, and this is a really good note to make for later. So if you make your first date a picnic date and you're like, inconspicuously, what do you want me to bring? And they go, oh, well, I like gummy worms, chocolate-covered pretzels, and the snack that smiles back. You said it, didn't you? Yes, you did. If they say that, then you can write it down and be sure to get them those snacks at like a later date or surprise them with it. It's really cute, and you get to do all your intel at once. You also get kind of a good sense of like the neighborhood that they live in, because if someone's going to recommend a picnic, 9 times out of 10, Black people so confident about that 9 times out of 10, they're going to do it in their neighborhood. And you can ask them about the park. Have they been there before? You can learn about memories. Okay, is this dirty back? I would take guys to the exact same park for my picnics. It was close to my house, and it's kind of like where I grew up. But it made it really easy for me. So if you're getting dating fatigue because you're like, oh my God, I got to show up to a different location. I got to spend this money. I got to put all that aside. Grab you a little picnic basket from Jeff Bezos' favorite website. You know what I mean? Toss some blankets in there, toss some like reusable silverware, washable stuff, and just make that like your little date basket. Now you're in control. You see me? You're the captain now. And you can show up to the same location and eliminate some of your fatigue. I also like that it allows for like some romantic mishaps, because there's something vulnerable, something human about sitting on the ground. Not only is it like physically grounding, and it does that spiritual practice of like pulling us down, but I like it because it makes us like equal. Nobody looks fly sitting on the ground. You know, we're all kind of like kids in a sense, and awkward, and we're eating our little finger sandwiches, and we're spilling things on our shirts, and it's cute. I think you should make sure that you are adding some dating environments that would be normal to what you'd normally be doing, as opposed to like you being dressed up or trying to impress. You can't impress nobody sitting crisscross applesauce. Yeah. All right. The next date is the farmer's market. This is a great date for people who have no personality. Absolutely. This is for you. If you've been told, wow, you're so hot, and like nothing else redeeming about the quality of your character, go to the farmer's market and make it your thing. It's there usually every Saturday or Sunday at the same time. It's also in the morning. So if you don't like the person because, you know, you're vapid and no one's ever told you anything deep about your character, then you have time in the evening to go on another date. Look at that. So the farmers markets usually happen in the afternoon. I like them. They're convenient. To me, it's nice because you don't have to spend. You know what I'm saying? You walk into the mall on a date, you're like, gotta drop a bag. You walk into the farmer's market, I might spend $8.90 on organic applesauce. I might not, you know? So I like the variability. It's really like a lot more like in control. And then live music. That's cute. Like there's something very romantic about walking through, you know, it's like, it sounds like a wedding story already. Well, actually, Steven and I were walking through a farmer's market, and then they just started playing Justin Bieber's Despacito, and we danced slowly as it began to rain outside of the fresh bees. There's usually bees also at a farmer's market, which is just kind of fun. It's like, walk over to the bees. Yeah. Okay. I like this date, especially because it's easy to ditch. We don't know that we want to be at the end of every single date. We just don't. And if you go to the farmer's market, you can meander around. And if they start giving off a very strong, uncontrollable body odor, and you happen to pass the organic soaps, you can be like, hey, check out those soaps. And when she looks at the soap, run. All right, there you go. You can also get the person small gifts. So if the date is going well, you get to the end of the farmer's market, then you just pick up a little something, and they think it's sweet. Start to watch the person that you're on a date with and like see that thing that they pick up and they go, nah, I have immigrant sense, and they put it down. Buy them that thing and like bring it to the next date. That'll be cute. It's also not a waste of your time. So ultimately, if you get to the end of the farmer's market date, look, you've supported the community, you've seen the neighborhood. Even if you'll never see that person again, you'll always have the farmer's market. This has been an ad sponsored by the Farmers Market Coalition of America. There's got to be like a big union, right? All right. The next would be free admission day at a museum. You cheapskate. That's good. You can just put on a persona. Like, don't just make it like a walking into the museum type of thing. That's boring. Oh, wow, a gigantic chair. Let's pose. I'll take a picture of you. No, dry, boo, boring. Put on like turtlenecks, pretend to be art buyers, pretend to be connoisseurs, role play. It doesn't have to be nasty. It could be platonic. Platonically role play at the free museum day. Take pictures of each other, see if anybody notices, Google things about the exhibits. It just, again, if you find that you're a little bit shy or slow to talk, this is a great free or low cost date idea to just walk around and make some comments, and you'll probably learn something about the other person. I like environments, if you're noticing, environments that give you just a little something but aren't overstimulating. And museums definitely do that for you. Next would be the thrift store, or you can go to any normal clothing store. You can go to the bougiest one you have access to, whatever you'd normally wear, and see if you two can dress each other. Totally original, right? You've never seen it online before. I like this one. I've done it a couple times before. Once with somebody that I like this one. I've done it a couple times before. Once with someone that I was in a relationship with, and then another time with someone I was just dating. I don't think he tried the clothes on, though, and that should have been a sign that he wasn't for me. I need you to actually put those things on your body. I should have known he had other girls in his phone when he was like, oh, that sweater? That's crazy. I should have known. It was over. He didn't call back. He said that someone died at work, and that he had to fill in, and that he needed to go away for a while. And I was like, oh my God, someone died at work? I'm so sorry. And I'm out here feeling for this dude. And then he ghosts. And I see him on the same apps about a month later. But again, I would have known because he never put the clothes on. So that's a test for you. See if you can create outfits for each other and then actually try them on. Next would be, if it's safe, have like an at-home movie night. Okay? It doesn't have to be like the basic Netflix and chill. Are you still watching? Then they hit you with that. I don't know. Are we still watching? Like, it doesn't have to be all that. You can keep it really relaxed and actually spice it up a little bit. Like, I love returning again to like the inner child. So you could do like a pillow fort. Oh, that'd be so cute. Use your mother and father's pillows since you're saving money to go to grad school. I know you with mom and dad. That's cool. Just ask them if it's all right and use their cushions. Draw up a pillow fort. You can also get like a cheap projector. So again, this is like low cost, but you get a projector that like shoots stars up onto the ceiling. Create a little ambiance, a little environment, some candles. Make sure that it's not just a movie night and the other person will feel super thought of. Don't we like it? We do. Next is finger painting. Yes, you've correctly deduced. I am 5 years old. I'm masquerading as an adult, but I like finger painting because you can just go to Target, get those big old 3x5s, the type that you told your dad to get at 11 p.m. the night before your big project was due, and he yelled at you that, why aren't you thinking of these things before they happen? Why are you always sending me to the store? This is the last time I will go to the store. Those gigantic 3x5 foot posters that don't have any trauma attached whatsoever. Make sure you get those blank canvases and then get some finger paints so that you guys can sit in a park and play and paint. You can find something to actually physically paint, which is cool because it gives you an objective, or you can try to paint each other. I like that because it's super disarming. Like, just give them a chance to kind of like guess you, figure you out. You can make horrible caricatures of each other, but just something that gets you to be very tactile. And then that gives him the cute opportunity to dip his finger in the green and swipe your nose. And then, oh my gosh, look at that. You're in a rom-com already. Continuing with this thread of childhood, host a lemonade stand? That is not one I've ever done myself. I was not allowed to sell things to strangers when I was young, but you can reclaim what I never had by starting A lemonade stand. I think this would be really funny for both of you as adults. And the price of the lemonade should reflect current economic conditions. Both of you should sell lemonade that costs $8.95 and upwards. And if you add things like goji berries, blackberries, or chia seeds, you can charge more. Something is very wrong with me. I laugh at a lot of things that aren't funny. Now that we've regained consciousness, the next thing that you can do is impersonate your favorite YouTubers. I like it. To me, it's fun. It's wacky. It's crazy. You see improv. You see the acting skills. I love getting in front of a camera, obviously, but it's a way to challenge your date to like expose a little bit more about their interests without just being like, what are some funny videos you've seen? That one's cool. Who do you follow? Like, get them to actually live it out and act it out. Another fun date idea is to go on a scavenger hunt or create a scavenger hunt for your date. This one was actually done for me by the same person who said someone died at work, but he designed a scavenger hunt. He designed a scavenger hunt where he was like, hey, we're going on a scavenger hunt. And I was like, wow, those are really clear instructions. And he goes, meet me at the mall. And I go, it's going down? And he goes, meet me at the trap. And I was like, no, that's illegal. But he did have me meet him at the mall. And what we did was walk around and he was like, okay, identify 5 Black people. And I was like, that'll be easy. And it wasn't. And that's when I realized I wasn't in a super diverse neighborhood. He had me do other things like meet 2 dogs because he knew that, you know, I like dogs. I think I make that pretty clear to all of my dates. Am I turning into a dog person where like that's the personality? So I would meet the dogs. I would meet the Blacks. I would locate different things inside of stores. He didn't buy any of those things. I should have known something was off about this dude. But what mattered was the fact that he had the foresight to send me on a scavenger hunt. For all I know, he could have been making it up as we went along, but it gave us something to do as opposed to just walking around the location. So give them something to find. You can create a little scorecard. Go crazy. Yeah? Put them on a scavenger hunt of their life. And then tell them that someone died at work and that that's why you're not messaging them back. Okay. I also love a local library visit. This one's easy. You pop into the library, you get a card, you support the arts. You can sort of rummage through the shelves. You can like, you know what I'm saying, neck in the nooks. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever said, and I promise you that I won't repeat it. But I love going to the library because, again, you kind of, I should sit down with a therapist because all these ideas are sounding like childhood. But there are adult books at the library. There are things that you can recommend to each other. You can find out if he reads, which would be good. I don't read, so I don't have like I used to read. I don't have like what's it called? It's you know, when somebody's acting more presumptuous. I'm not presumptuous about it. But if you read, great. I'll find out at the library. I also like doing things for family. To me, this is fun because it like puts you at the disposal of your family. And I think what I like is a little bit of spontaneity and a little bit of choose your own adventure. So if you create an entire date that's just like you two putting yourselves at the disposal of your family members, you get the sense of like how generous this person is with their time, with their energy. Can they live things? Will they do things for you when you ask? It's not a test. It's not all a sick, twisted test, I promise. But to me, I think it's kind of like a fun and sneaky way to meet their family. If you meet their family early on, please be advised. Don't say, Joy from Dating Unsettled told me if I met his mom and his Auntie Joan, I'm in. No, it doesn't mean you're in. It just means you met them. But it might still be a nice time. And his nieces will look up to you. Okay, next would be to do like a little life task date. So if you find that dating is just absolutely overwhelming for you, you have no energy to get out there and sit down to a dinner where you're speaking about something totally unrelated from everything that's on your plate, why don't you tell the person what's on your plate? This is a really like hyper realistic date. This is a Wes Anderson. Well, he's kind of surrealistic. This is a real life date. This is a big folks, grown folks, adult date. So if you've got things to do, tell your date about them. Both of you can make to-do lists and then you bang them out together. Like, invite them along for the ride. I'm very much a passenger princess. If you tell me, hey, babe, I gotta go to I don't even need to be your babe, frankly. I'll go. Yeah, I'm there. You're hot. I'm there. I just love being in the passenger seat while somebody's like doing their thing. And then when men put their hand over the second part of the seat, like the passenger seat, and then they turn around and they start reversing with the other hand. Oh, I can't explain what that does to me, but it does things inside my system. So I'll follow you on some tasks. Don't be afraid to invite the person you're dating, especially if they're a femme, to just go out with you and do random errands. It puts them in your life. It lets them know what you typically handle in a day-to-day scenario, and it's just real. Esther Perel brought this up recently, and I love her. God, mother. She's mothering. Esther brought up that we often ask for dates or go on dates that aren't realistic to what's happening in our lives. Like, they're out of the way. They're a segue. They're a detour. Why don't we just bring people into our lives? If you were already planning to see your friends, have them come meet you and see your friends. But again, we're going low cost, okay? We're going to keep it inexpensive. The next date would be a drive-in movie. It's fun because you get, gas, okay? I didn't account for the cost of gas, and that car needs to be running for most of the movie. But what I do love about a good drive-in movie is that if you go to like an in-theater, type of showing, oh my God, we're losing recipes. If you go to an in-theater showing, then it's like $20, sometimes $30 if they got the reclining seats and they're gonna bring you food. A drive-in movie usually costs about half of that. So consider that as a way to see movies that are still new and like just came out in theaters. Are we liking these ideas? If you're liking these ideas, please enjoy this please enjoy this breakdown. Are you enjoying the breakdown? Good. I'm looking directly at you. If you are not watching the podcast, but you're listening to the podcast, then you can hear my soothing voice. I bet you're wondering, why did she stop speaking? Why did she stop listing dates? I'm going to find her and put a stop to this. Okay, yeah, you're with me. Good. I'm glad that woke you up. No, it's not Siri. That was me. Okay, so I like doing a little photography headshot date. Everybody needs a good headshot. So if you are absolutely at a loss for what to do, maybe it's on your life tasks list, maybe it's not, or maybe you have like artistic skills, you should practice photography. You don't need an expensive camera. You could use like a little old school camera. You could use your phone. Hello. And the great thing about headshots these days is that you can complete them with AI. So if you feel like you don't have the professional attire that you're looking for, try taking chef's kiss, excellent photos of this person and then using Canva to complete the rest. You can use this kind of new magic tool, scan over the area that is their body and replace it with anything that you like, which is really helpful if the date doesn't go your way and you want to practice dark magic. Are you seeing what? No, I'm just kidding. I don't practice dark magic. No, that's not what this is about. This is about headshots and being helpful. Do not be surprised if the photos that you take of this person end up on their dating profile. That's unsettling. It can be unsettling, but I promise that you did a good deed. So just feel good about it. Oh, now you're a published photographer. Look at you. Okay. This is a date idea that never, ever fails. And I especially loved to do this in the early stages of dating. I'm talking about like the first ever conversation that we have. It can be a little disarming. It's kind of like hardballing, so just bear with me. But this next date idea is to play the skin deep. Now, I'm not partnered with the skin deep. I don't know how many skin deep decks is going to sell. Skin deep, if you're getting, traffic from this or commission, hi, it's your girl. But I love to play the skin deep. And they're this company that you've probably seen them before online where they do these like side-by-side interviews where two people who have an intimate relationship of any kind, mother, father, partners, they sit across from each other and they answer these really honest and vulnerable questions. So they decided to turn that interview series into a card deck / game. They have a couple different decks depending on your level of knowledge or intimacy of this person. So if you're in the really early, I just met you phase, then there's a deck for that. There's one for, okay, we're getting a little pink here. Like, oh, you're cute. I want to get to know you. Get to know the person a little bit deeper. And then there's a deck for when you know the person's soul. And that deck is intense. I've never played it before. But I used to like the one that's pink. It's called the and. It's like the ampersand and. So play the and. You can whip it out. Don't whip anything else out, but you can whip out the and. And again, somebody might feel like, whoa, like you already came with like a game to play. Or they might feel like, oh, that's cool and different. I'd love to try that. Or they'll be like, wow, I've heard about that game. I love that game. I've definitely received the entire range of responses to the and when I bring it out. But all in all, I would say it's a net positive. Like, this is a chance for you to have real, honest, and vulnerable conversations. Something that unsettles me about dating today is that we're not really talking to each other. We're speaking at each other, and we're just hoping for the outcomes that we want out of the other person. They do this a lot on Love is Blind. That's why people think they fall in love. You're falling in love with the idea of the person that you built inside your head, and you're expecting them to fill it. So if you play something like a card game or the and, you are asking them questions, and then you're putting yourself in a listening position. This is really hard for people with big mouths who like to talk, especially people who've decided to do podcasts where they speak for 25 to 35 minutes straight at a time. But play the and, ask the other person questions, really listen for those answers and hold them with you. Like, to me, these have shaped relationships. You can bring them out in the car. You can bring them out at home. You can ask them to do a little video chat. And in your video chat in the app, before you even get their phone number, it's just a good chance to get to know them. Look at me, my cards are all upside down. Whew. If the and or the skin deep is a little too deep for you, if it feels a little corny or cheesy, play something like Culture Tags. Culture Tags is like a black on card game. Again, shout out to Culture Tags. If you get free press from this, great. I love you. Culture Tags was fun to play because it kind of shows you where this person is in the range of black culture. I've never played Culture Tags with a non-black person. That's an idea. Let me know how that goes, Unsettlers. Okay. You could volunteer together. If all else fails and you do not want to give of your money, then you can give of your time. This is a good way to like show the person what causes matter to you. Maybe it's a local nonprofit. If you don't see a volunteering event, which is like crazy because there's always something to do in the community, then perhaps you could create one. Like, just think about a way that you could serve or give back, go to a local church, ask if you can help out, and just be hands-on. I remember doing this in a relationship. I don't know that I did it when I was dating, but I would have liked to. And I think now that I am like deeper into the relationship with my partner, I'm like, dang, I'm looking for ways that he and I can like regularly serve together. So if volunteering is something that's already a part of your life, like if you're always going to the animal shelter or for the soup kitchen, like bring that person in with you. Show them what matters to you. It's going to reveal an entirely like different and vulnerable side of you that a lot of people probably don't have the privilege of seeing. Okay. This next one is absolutely nuts, but it could be nuts enough to work. Plan a fake vacation together. Yeah, that's right. So you can do this in public at a coffee shop. You don't have to know them super well. You don't have to exchange passwords. Don't let them bug your devices. I'm paranoid. But get in front of each other and think about like a dream destination. If you could go absolutely anywhere in the world, where would you go? And this will tell you a lot about this person's like logistical abilities as well as their wanderlust. Do they want to go to Vegas, to Miami, or do they want to go to Milan? Are they able to go to Milan? Do they have a green card? All of these questions will come up during this conversation. So things might get kind of real. If it gets tense and painful, I'm sorry. It wasn't me who recommended it. It was my worst enemy. Their name is... Yeah, there you go. Okay, so next I would say is go to a botanical garden. Botanical gardens are a good little switch up from the hike, walk. And sometimes they're absolutely free. Sometimes there's a cost if they're like extremely well maintained. But this is a chance for both of you to kind of step it up. Botanical garden for me is a way of like going above a hike but under a winery. We still outside. We still enjoying nature. We're learning things, but it's not as like... I hate to say, it's not as flat as a museum. Things are living, they're breathing, and there's often somewhere for you to sit and just talk and play the skin deep. Look at that. You can actually put some of these dates together. Okay, the final idea I have for you, if nothing else fails, is to purge your closets. Some of y'all looking crazy. You wearing things that nobody should ever step outside in. Don't come for me, because if you go through my closet history, you'll find even worse. I am the pot and I'm calling the kettle black, but go through your closets together. You can invite this person if you feel safe or comfortable enough with them to get into your home, or you can do something else that will evoke like memory lane imagery. To me, this is like going through a toy store. Have you ever been to an antique toy store? Okay, I might be like a huge nerd or a geek, but again, we're talking low cost dates. I'm not trying to send y'all to concerts and amusement parks. I want you to get out into your neighborhoods, get to the libraries, the museums, the botanical gardens, the toy stores, or your very own closet. Assemble furniture from IKEA. I don't care. I don't care what you're doing, but make sure that it's facilitating meaningful conversation for you and is allowing you to see this person in another context that you wouldn't otherwise. If you like these free or low cost date ideas, you're welcome. I want nothing but love for you. I want serendipity. I want spontaneity. I want something crazy and wild and unexpected to happen to you. And I know that it's possible because it happened to me. So be sure to switch up your dates, follow Dating Unsettled wherever podcasts are found. You can also subscribe to watch us on YouTube now that we looking all good and pretty and stuff. Go to youtube.com/JoyOfodu or search for the Dating Unsettled playlist, and we'll see you after your date.